You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday. Welcome, everybody. Quad Bennett, welcome. You're back. I am back, indeed. Back to the normal setup. Back to the normal schedule. I am back. Michael Haster, welcome. Moanep, welcome. So a couple of announcements, and I'm going to need your guys' help to spread the word. This Wednesday, folks, I will be on the Letterhacks channel. I will be on their live stream, on his live stream, left past 10. So, folks, do me a favor. Number one, go hit subscribe on the Letterhacks channel. And tune in this Wednesday, March 26th, about 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be there. And I will also be simultaneously streaming it here. Hacks a letter. Moanep, welcome. So yes, I will also simultaneously be streaming it as well. But yeah, please feel free to tune into the Letter Hack. So what's going to happen, and I'm going to make another announcement before I go as well. Wednesday stream will not be the standard 5 p.m. Eastern. So the Wednesday stream is not going to be the same normal 5 p.m. Eastern. Instead, just catch me on the Letter Hack at 10 p.m. Eastern. You will also be able to watch this stream, but yes, I will be live streaming it. But I will be live streaming it, but also just be aware that it won't be at the same normal time. All right, folks, we got to get started. It's been quite a tiring week. Traveling. I drove about 13 hours. Yes, not yesterday. Saturday. So I am still pretty exhausted, but I made it. I made it back. I made it to and back. So, yeah. All right, folks. The usual disclosures before we get started. Ladybug, welcome. Thank you all for being here. If you want to support the channel, there are many different ways of doing so. Consider joining the Discord, subscribing to the Substack to keep up with the channel. If you want to support the channel directly, you can check out the merch store with ! merch and hit that ! tip to tip directly. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your guys' support. You guys are what makes this channel go, so I appreciate it. And spread the word, folks. That's another fantastic way of supporting the channel. We are here Monday through Thursday around 5 p.m. Eastern Time, so spread the word, except on Wednesday will be at 10 p.m. Yeah, buy your swastika today. Yeah, damn, indeed. It was quite a journey, I should say. Quite the journey. All right, folks. Let's get started.
When Trump was campaigning on mass deportation, he never specifically said that he'd only target criminals. He did, however, say that he would target them first, but it was always clear that he intended on expelling all undocumented immigrants and even talked about expelling some legal ones, because by his logic, all undocumented immigrants were definitionally criminals since they were...
Right, and this is not news, by the way. Like, this is a talking point that has been repeated over and over again when you try to talk to these people, right? They'll be like, well, they're already criminals by definition, right? By crossing the border, definitionally, they're already criminals. And they've kind of hammered this talking point for years now at this point. I mean, we can hear Heinrich Himmler, Tom Homan, talk about this. He's said it multiple times. And just to be clear, like, it's not going to stop with undocumented people, right? It's not going to stop with documented people, okay? With documented legal residents. It's not going to stop there, right? Like, citizens eventually, well, they'll get to you too.
were here illegally. The problem with this line of thinking, however, is that most undocumented immigrants don't hop the border contrary to popular belief. They come here legally and overstay their visas, which is a civil violation, not a criminal offense. Therefore, they are not criminals. Regardless, nobody wants to be undocumented, but they're forced into that situation, often through no fault of their own, because our system is completely broken, and it makes it very difficult for anyone to obtain permanent residency. And even if you do it the right way, sometimes that's still not good enough for Republicans. Trump campaigned on deporting legal Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, because they obtained legal status through the Biden administration, which therefore makes their residency illegitimate in his eyes. But regardless of whatever bullshit justification they use, it's clear that the Trump administration isn't just targeting criminals. They're targeting law-abiding, tax-paying immigrants as well. And the reason why they want you to think that they're only targeting criminals is so that way you believe that their deportations are warranted and just. But regardless if they're criminals or not, all of them are entitled to due process.
Right, like that's where kind of like this falls apart, right? Because like they're being denied due process, right? So you can't actually say that these are criminals, right? They're just deporting people because they were never awarded due process. You don't know if they were actually criminals. Like, that wasn't proven in a court of law at all.
Process. And the fact that so many people, both immigrants and citizens, have had their constitutional rights violated in service of mass deportation is deeply alarming. And the fact that so many Americans don't seem to care about that is also alarming for different reasons. But a lot of
Yep. True. I like that emote.
people, including Trump's own supporters, didn't expect things to be this bad. And they certainly didn't expect their loved ones to be caught up in this mess.
Right. Like, this is like, it's not going to happen to me, right? Well, it is. And just to be clear, again, this is not going to stop with immigrants, right? Documented or otherwise. It's going to affect citizens too. At what, like, it's only a matter of time, right? There already like jokes about the idea of sending citizens to the El Salvador concentration camps, right? Like, Bukele has said that he would take convicted American citizens.
But now some of them are finding out the hard way that when Trump said mass deportation, he didn't just mean the bad immigrants. He meant all immigrants. And an individual named Bradley Bartell, who voted for Donald Trump, is realizing that his vote may have doomed his own wife, Camilla. And I want to talk about their story because I think it's important. Lauren Villagran of USA Today reports, Bradley Bartell and Camilla Munoz had a familiar small-town love story before they collided with immigration politics. They met through mutual friends, had a first date at the local steakhouse, married after 2 years, and were saving to buy a house and have kids. Munoz was already caring for Bartel's now 12-year-old son as her own. But last month, on their way home to Wisconsin after honeymooning in Puerto Rico, an immigration agent pulled Munoz aside in the airport. "Are you an American citizen?" asked the agent. She answered no, she wasn't. She's from Peru, but she and her husband had taken the legal steps so that one day she might get U.S. citizenship. Before agents led her away, Munoz pulled off her wedding ring, afraid it might get confiscated. She shoved it into her backpack and handed it to Bartel. He shook as he watched her disappear. He thought, what the fuck do I do? He saw her as a funny, caring, hardworking woman who came legally, not one of the illegals who the president he supported promised to deport. It took days for Bartel to find his wife after she was detained at...
Yeah, by the way, this guy doesn't regret his vote at all. If I remembered the story correctly, this guy never regretted his vote.
the airport. It was nearly a week before Munoz appeared in the ICE detention system. Her name finally turned up in an online locator assigned to a privately run detention center in Louisiana. On a video call, her black curls hanged askew. She wears a tan uniform reflecting her lack of criminal record. Bartel worries about his wife. "Emotionally, I'm concerned for her," he said. "It can't be easy being trapped in a room with 100 other people. They don't have anything in there. It's just so wasteful." Now I want to pause right here to give you some additional context because like other immigrants, her status changed through no fault of her own.
Yeah, some deep denial, deep, like, yeah. I mean, like, it's actually like impressive, the mental like compartmentalization required, right, to reach that point, to watch your wife get put through all of this and being like, yeah, I don't regret it at all.
So she ended up overstaying her visa because she couldn't leave the country because flights were canceled and the border was shut down due to COVID-19. So naturally, she had to support herself. So she got a job working at a farm. She ended up meeting her husband at some point and decided that she wanted to stay because she ended up building a life for herself here. And this happens all the time. Immigrants move here legally, create lives for themselves, fall in love, have children, and then their status changes. And then they're forced to choose to either give up everything that they've built for themselves here or risk it all and stay in the country and try to find some way to stay legally. Any human being in this predicament would make that same decision. Anyone would. I would, you would. It's the human thing to do. That's what Bartel's wife decided to do. And she didn't do anything wrong. These people who stay here and they overstay their visas because they built lives for themselves and can't find a way to stay legally, that's not inherently bad.
Captain, there are still 9 orders that need your approval.
All right, I'll get to it soon.
What does that do to you? How does that harm other people? It doesn't. But yet, she's being punished because people like her husband voted for a man who doesn't think people like her deserve to be here. And on that note, the article continues, both of them have been thinking a lot about Bartel's vote for Trump. Yeah, I fucking bet. "I knew they were cracking down," he said. "I guess I didn't know how it was going down." He imagined the administration would target people who snuck over the border and weren't vetted. But his wife, they know who she is and where she came from, he said. They need to get the vetting done and not keep these people locked up. It doesn't make any sense. In other words, it's not like he was completely ignorant. He had some idea that a crackdown of sorts was coming. He just mistakenly thought that it was about whether or not the immigrants were vetted and not vetted, which doesn't really make sense. I don't know why he thought that, because Trump was very clear that he wanted to deport all immigrants, including some legal ones. So I'm not sure why he didn't take the time to look into this further, but I mean, what do you say? I don't know what to say about things like this. I swear to God, the profound stupidity of the average American never fucking ceases to amaze me. This is why we're one of the only developed OECD nations that doesn't have universal health care or mandatory paid sick leave, because our collective idiocy makes brainwashing us so fucking easy. We are so easy to take advantage of because of how brainless we are as a fucking society. Like, they don't even have to try. Listen, Reagan literally told an entire generation of Americans that we have to give tax cuts to rich people because their wealth would trickle down. And most Americans believed it. Many still believe it, even though that philosophy has led to a level of income and wealth inequality that has surpassed the Gilded Age. They still think that the wealth is going to trickle down someday, anytime now. I mean, it's hard to not feel hopeless when so many Americans are uniquely susceptible to getting duped by politicians and con men, quite frankly. I don't know what to say. And when it comes to immigration personally, if I wasn't sure whether or
Thank you, Nuggets. It was muted. Mo, and I booped the like button. Thank you. I think your mic is on mute. Yep. Yes, pro streamer moment. So yeah, what I was trying to say, and thank you. What I was trying to say is that, like, these people, the guy never regretted his vote. Right? Like, I was trying to remember the story, if it's the same guy, and like someone in the comment section kind of confirmed this, because the story was very familiar. This is relatively recent. Yeah, the guy never regretted his vote, right? It's amazing, the mental the mental compartmentalization necessary to watch your wife go through this and be like, yeah, I don't regret my vote at all.
or not a xenophobic presidential candidate's mass deportation policy would affect someone that I love, I probably would just sit that election out. Is that so hard to do? Is it so hard to just not vote if you're not really sure? I mean, even if...
But I mean, like, I would argue that, like, maybe we should just kind of, like, you know, it's 2025, okay? Like, at some point, you kind of have to, like, assign agency. And, you know, Mike's talked about this, so, you know, it's not like he hasn't mentioned this before. He has. At some point, like, this isn't just, like, stupidity, man. This isn't just ignorance, okay? These people chose this. And if they couldn't be bothered, right, to, like, educate themselves, I mean, like, that's not an excuse, right? And I'm not saying that he's excusing it. I'm just saying, like, just kind of like piggybacking off what Figueroa is saying. Like, these people have zero excuse, right? Zero. None. You knew what this guy was when he had his first term. Okay. Maybe there could have been some leeway. You know, you didn't really know, whatever. Okay. But now there is no excuse, right? Even before Donald Trump ever thought about being president, like, the type of person that he is was pretty well known, was pretty obvious, right? Like, the type of con man, garbage person, like, it was very, very documented, right? Like during all of the scandals that he's had, shafting people out of pay, bankrupting businesses. I mean, like, this isn't new. Running con after con after con.
You weren't sure whether or not your wife would be directly affected. Did you not think about whether or not the xenophobic culture that Trump was...
Exactly. Like, this is not new, man. Like, they should have known this, except they did, right? And that's why they, like, even if they don't admit it themselves, or even if they don't, like, because clearly this guy has, like, some Olympian level of mental gymnastics, right? Even if he doesn't outright say it, like, yeah, dude, you're kind of cool with the whole xenophobic culture, man. That's why you voted for him.
Fostering would maybe harm her indirectly. I mean, even if she's not deported, things have gotten so bad. The vitriol towards immigrants have gotten so bad that Republican congressional candidates are proposing mass executions of immigrants. I mean, it's been clear for a while that this fascist party was getting increasingly Hitlerian over time. So even if you're ignorant of history and don't really...
Which is wild to me in this day and age, right? Like, I mean, like, I've been taking a trip down memory lane, specifically the Weimar years and Nazi Germany, right? Because it seems like it's probably a pertinent area of history to study at this point. But I suppose even if you didn't have, right, like the intellectual curiosity to, like, kind of understand how authoritarianism works, I mean, is any of this okay? Like, do you think that shipping hundreds of people off into a concentration camp in a completely different country, okay, that has nothing to do with them, right? Like, you're sending, supposedly, right, because we don't even know if they're even Venezuelan, but supposedly you're sending hundreds of Venezuelan people to El Salvador, no, without due process. How long is it before it's American citizens? Like, how long is it before it's American citizens?
follow politics too closely, did it even occur to you once that the increasing hostility towards immigrants might be a little bit bad for the person you fell in love with, even minimally? Maybe even if it just affects her on a mental level. Is that not...
Yeah, like, I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy stuff, man. It just really, like, baffles the mind. It really baffles the mind. Bipedal Meatbag, welcome. Those who didn't read history are doomed to repeat it. Those who do read history are also doomed to repeat it because of the people who didn't read. Not
enough for you to say, I can't support this. Did you not see any red flags? I mean, Jesus Christ. And it's already bad enough that his wife has to suffer the consequences for his stupidity. But to make matters worse, other people have to suffer because of people like him who don't do any fucking research. But here's some examples.
Yeah. Also, right? Just to piggyback off this point, why is it the problem that why is it the problem that it affected you personally? Right? Like that indicates how deeply effed up these people are, right? That the reason why some of these people are angry, or some of these people are just kind of jolting into reality for how little time that happens, but it's because it affected them. Never mind the hundreds, thousands of people that this has affected negatively. But it's the fact that they're only caring about it because it affected them is kind of like really freaking telling.
of other innocent immigrants like his wife who've also been detained. A woman in her 50s who's lived in the country for more than 30 years and is married to a U.S. citizen. A woman in her 30s with proof of valid permanent legal residency whose father and siblings are U.S. citizens and who first came to the U.S. as a teen. A European woman in her 30s engaged to a U.S. citizen who overstayed her visa when she was 21. A woman engaged to a U.S. legal permanent resident with whom she has lived for 9 years. I don't know how detaining or deporting any of these women makes the country better. How does this make America great again? Does their absence suddenly bring down the cost of eggs? Does it make the cost of living cheaper? I mean, these are rhetorical questions, sure, but we also have to come to terms with the fact that a huge portion of the population, they're not ignorant. They would happily doom themselves to perpetual economic austerity just to fuck over immigrants and marginalized people, because America isn't just plagued by stupidity, it's also plagued by cruelty and a deep, deep racism and xenophobia that we've never gotten rid of. It's always been there, but there are certain times where it's more implicit as opposed to explicit, but now it's bubbling up to the top, and all of the problems of society are being blamed on immigrants and trans people and DEI. And I just feel like if your bullshit detector doesn't go off and you just accept that, oh, the immigrants are the problem when people at the top are making record profits, when CEOs are buying their 7th mansion and 4th yachts, the fact that you blame people with no money and no power, I mean, I just kind of feel like you're kind of dumb if you just accept that and you don't question that narrative at all. And part of the problem with mass deportation,
maybe it already plays into their preconceived biases, so they're just go with it.
in particular, is that you can't pull something like that off unless you violate human rights and deny people of their constitutional rights. And we're not just talking about immigrants. For example, civil liberties groups in Chicago like the ACLU are accusing the Trump administration of violating the constitutional rights of 22 people just in this state. This includes 54-year-old Julio Noriega, a Chicago-born U.S. citizen who was arrested by ICE after buying pizza. It also includes 47-year-old Abel Orozco Ortega, who was detained without a warrant outside of his home. Turns out the federal agents who were questioning him were looking for his son, but ended up arresting him instead. And again, this is just in Chicago, but it's not the first time that they've arrested the wrong person or detained a U.S. citizen or a veteran. And none of this is surprising. And even though the Trump administration is claiming that they're only going after criminals, that's just factually incorrect. Earlier this week, the president of El Salvador announced that he'd received
like,
200...
This is just some... I don't know if you've seen like this fash propaganda, but this is just like in freaking insane. This is just insane. The fash, for a lack of a better term, and excuse my vocabulary, but it's like fascist porn. That this guy did was insane. Bukele tweets, today, the first 238 members of the Venezuelan criminal organization Tren de Aragua arrived in our country. No, 238 people arrived in your country. You don't know who they are. Nobody went through the process to figure out if A, they're Venezuelan, or B, gang members, or C, specifically gang members of Tren de Aragua. None of this was sussed out in court. None of these people had due process. Kirkenstein's Monster, welcome.
138 Venezuelan immigrants deemed criminals by the Trump administration. Now, this video showcases the harsh treatment they received. They were sentenced to hard labor, and this detention center in particular is known for torture, literally. But it turns out, as the New York Times reports, that family members of some of the men who were sent here contested the accusation that their family member was in a gang, and as Aaron Reichlin Melnick of the American Immigration Council points out, the Trump administration admitted that the men in that video who were sentenced to hard labor and might be tortured might not have had criminal records after all.
Right, and also, they even sent women there, okay? They even sent women there. The concentration camp then the El Salvador government deported the women back to Venezuela because apparently those concentration camps are only for men. But they sent women there. Okay? This is truly disgusting shit. Sammy, welcome. Soul Life, welcome. Welcome, everybody.
Shocker, I know. In fact, we know for a fact that some of them are innocent. Aaron explains that the innocent men who were denied due process includes a tattoo artist seeking asylum who entered legally, a teen who got a tattoo in Dallas because he thought it looked cool, and a 26-year-old whose tattoos his wife says are unrelated to a gang. In other words, they were profiled because of their race and because of the tattoos that they had, which were interpreted as gang tattoos, when in fact, they were not gang-related tattoos. They were just tattoos, but since they were on brown people, they thought, oh, those are gang tattoos. Of course, lock them up. That's good enough. Don't need to have any trial, no due process. Lock them up, throw away the keys, send them to El Salvador, have them tortured. That's justice right there. That's making America great again. What a joke. But on top of that, permanent residents who are here legally, like Fabian.
Yeah, it's not going to stop with just undocumented people, folks. Who's ready for carne de asada? Almost done just frying up some tortillas. Yo, line some up for me too. Thank you. Cognizant, welcome. Watching the rise of the prison state of El Salvador. Yeah, I mean, soon to be just like straight up a penal colony, right? Because, I mean, what are you going to do, right? I think Matt Leck from the Majority Report made this point. Like, there's only two options here with these concentration camps, right? Either we're going to see, like, another, like, really bad, like, gang organization rise up, or they're just going to start killing people. Okay, they're just going to start becoming death camps, because at some point, like, you can't imprison everybody. What are you going to do with those people? Wait till we see Dems getting heads shaved. It won't be long before they're just literally shipping opposition, political opposition over there, right? I mean, but like seriously, what's stopping them? That's exactly correct, NSC. What's stopping them, right? What's stopping them from saying that, like, I don't know, anyone found, I don't know, anyone found, like, for example, this is a perfect example. Anyone that was found doing, like, the Tesla arson are domestic terrorists and therefore should be sent to El Salvador, right? Citizen or not. For-profit prisons need to be filled. Yep, Trump administration outsourcing American prison jobs. Globalists.
And Schmidt are being detained and violently interrogated for no reason whatsoever. Other green card holders like Mahmoud Khalil face deportation simply because he expressed speech that the Trump administration...
A legal permanent resident. So again, I say, what's stopping them, I should say, from deporting citizens for simply being political dissidents?
Disagreed with. So no due process, no free speech. The Trump administration is just basically locking up or deporting anyone that they deem an enemy. And Trump supporters are perfectly fine with that. They think that this is making America great again. It's just sad that this is where we've come to. And odds are some of the people watching this right now know somebody who's been swept up in Trump's immigration crackdown, or knows somebody who could be swept up in Trump's immigration crackdown. So I think it's worth stating again.
Yeah. Let's just say that I would fit the description. Does that make sense? And my parents would definitely fit the description. So yeah, I am freaking worried. Not as much for myself as it is for my parents. They probably already have. We just haven't seen it in the media yet. I mean, who knows? But it wouldn't surprise me. I heard some shit about them checking phones at customs entry. I won't be leaving the country anytime soon. I would recommend to not, because they did. They denied entry to some, I think it was a French researcher, because they went through his phone and deemed him too anti-Trump for complaining and expressing dissenting opinions about Trump and his destruction of academia. They went through his stuff. So, yes, they will. So, yeah, if you plan to come to the United States, don't. Okay? If you plan to come to the United States, don't. If you plan to leave the United States, understand that it's probably best if you plan to just leave until all this is over. Like, if you plan to go and if you have the methods and resources to leave and you've already got your plan set out, understand that if you leave the United States, it's a one-way ticket until this is all over. Does that make sense? I'm genuinely scared for most people I love over there. Mouselander, welcome. How are they checking phones? I think they can just like pull you aside, you know? I think they can just pull you aside and be like, yeah, we need to you've been randomly selected, okay? Yeah, the CNRS French guy. There you go. They probably just pulled him aside and asked him questions. Yeah. Last I heard, they still have to ask, and I'm sure he thought I have nothing to hide. Oh, yeah, that's actually a good point. Have you heard about that Canadian woman that was detained a week, I think, and what she saw? Yeah. And if you think that, looking or being white saves you, it won't. Saucy Sea Witch, from my understanding, border agents are allowed to detain a person and search their phones and laptop for, quote, security reasons. The laws have been written to give them more power than they should have. Gotcha. I live here, but could leave for my work if I wanted. I don't even want to fly, so I won't be taking any of those assignments. Yeah, I mean, flying is already like an iffy business as it is. But like just with all of this going on here, like I wouldn't want to leave the country unless I know that I'm not coming back for a while until this is over. And if I don't live in the U.S., I would just recommend to not come here. There's literally no reason. There's literally no reason for taking that risk. She said she saw a grandma-age woman there for months and wasn't allowed to shower or anything. Yeah. Easy fix. Just travel with a burner phone with nothing in it except your travel itinerary and some free games. Oh, man. But, like, the point is that you have to do that, right? In a free society, right? Like, you wouldn't have to. The fact that you have to think that way is the problem. F that, encrypt your device and use a PIN instead of fingerprint. I think all modern phones have a police mode you can toggle from the lock screen. I know Android does. Yep. Saucy, I was just watching a story about two women from Nova Scotia on tour were harassed because they were coming from a country known to smuggle fentanyl. Yeah, sure. When I think fentanyl, I think Nova Scotia. Canada. Right. Civil liberties are just gone. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, for all intents and purposes, like, just to not, it's not underselling it to say that, like, the Constitution and due process just don't exist. And it's only a matter of time before this starts to happen to American citizens. It's only a matter of time because what's stopping them, right? If they can do it to legal residents, what's stopping them?
Again, that we all have constitutional rights, and we need to know those rights, which include the right to remain silent. You don't have to sign anything if ICE asks you to. You can request a warrant if they ask to search you. Constitutional protections apply to all of us, regardless of citizenship status. And
That's true. However, if said constitutional protections are being foregone because of a archaic wartime's power, then it's kind of moot, right?
and even though
Just to be clear, like, understanding your rights is incredibly important. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying that they may not apply anymore. Like, we have to come at this with the understanding that, like, civil rights, the Constitution, as we know it, is not in effect. Is not in effect at all, right? Because if they can take away rights, right? Because the Constitution doesn't say this is the law of American citizens. The Constitution says this is a supreme law of the land, meaning that this is under this pertains to everybody. This is for everyone who is here in the United States. Everyone, regardless of being documented, undocumented, whatever, you have a right to due process. And once you kind of strip that away from one group of people, it's only a matter of time before it starts to happen to everybody else. Once they no longer need our vote, which, to be fair, I think we're there now. If not now, then by next federal election, they will do it to us. But this isn't a wartime power. Trump used a loophole in that rule. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to, from my understanding, it's supposed to be like a special, like, emergency power, right? The Alien and Enemies Act or whatever. As far as I know, the only time it's ever been invoked is during war.
though the Trump administration has no regard for the rule of law, you will still make their jobs more difficult if you and the people in your community are informed about your rights. And as much as it feels cathartic to bitch and moan about people like Bartell who helped unleash this bullshit on the country, the fact of the matter is that we can't undo the past. He can't take back his vote even if he wanted to. And all of the people like him are going to have to learn the hard way that actions have consequences, unfortunately, and people that they love who don't deserve this are going to suffer because of what...
Yeah, and just to be clear, like, these people don't deserve it, right? Like, you know, even if you're, like, a Trump supporter, okay, you don't deserve your wife being deported by a freaking fascist regime, okay? Even though I will forever loathe you for it, okay? I will forever blame you for it, okay? I still don't think that Trump supporters deserve to be, for example, kicked out of their jobs, as part of these federal layoffs. I don't think that they should lose Social Security or lose SNAP benefits or lose disability benefits, okay? Had other lies when they were just kidnapping BLM protesters, but now it's so free and dangerous. Yeah. The mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, made a great speech telling ICE to back the F off.
But the best that we can do is protect people in our lives and communities and just try to do the best that we can to survive as things continue to get worse. We have to make do with what we have now, and it's not a great situation, but we can't just cower in fear. We have to live our lives, and informing people that we love about their rights, that is something that I think will go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if it wakes them up, right, like, and it makes them fight the fascist regime, so be it. I'm just saying, like, I think a deep reckoning is going to need to happen in this country after all this is said and done, because this is not forever, right? Like, fascism doesn't last forever. A huge reckoning is going to be needed after this, because if the fundamental problem isn't resolved, then like these people are just going to be susceptible to the next one.
A long way. It's not going to make things better, but it's going to help.
I agree that I don't like bad things happening to them either. Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, just because I don't like these people, okay? And just because I literally like despise these people, like I have genuine contempt for these people. I still think that like having your wife deported by a fascist regime is bad. Does that make sense? I hope people can sue for mistreatment. Heat, how's it going? Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate it. Times are tough, but we're here. Yeah. Well, let's take a shot of hopium, right? Can we do that? Let's take a shot of hopium.
Minutes ago is exactly the right point. And that is what the right wing wants us to do is to turn on each other.
I woke up early this morning to give you some hope because Lord knows we all need a little hope right now. So I'm going to go through some of the insane crowds that Bernie Sanders and AOC brought out this week. Crowds that are even bigger.
I missed this. Welcome, Pirate Ninja. I'm glad you're here. But we have empathy, and that's what they're missing. Yeah, I mean, if we can't resolve the fundamental issue, the underlying issue, they'll just fall, for the next one. I didn't even realize AOC and Bernie were in Colorado. I think that they're doing this for security purposes. And I would say for good reason. But if I'm correct, okay, you need to be signed up for their for Bernie's newsletter, and I think that's how you get the heads up. Correct me if I'm wrong. You may need to research that because I couldn't find the itinerary. I couldn't find where the next stop is going to be. It's not public. I literally tried to search for this because I was hoping that maybe since this state is a potential swing state, that maybe they're going to come here. But I'm actually not sure. I think from what the internet told me is that you have to be signed up for their for Bernie's newsletter, and if you are, you might get the heads up. I think I signed up for Bernie's newsletter. I haven't seen anything. I have to keep checking, but yeah, it's kind of like you have to know because they didn't make any of this public. Sammy Reed, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, no one deserves what happened to her or him. Yep. I miss being in a state where I can be outwardly be a progressive. Bernie and AOC is an amazing superhero team. That's a big club and we ain't in it.
Then the
Nice. That's true, but in the end, it does elevate them more and also helps more Canadians to see them, I think, anyways.
Crowds that he got when he was actually running for president. Keep in mind, as you're looking at this stuff, as I'm showing you clips, videos, I'll get to a local news report as well. As you're looking at this stuff, keep in mind, there is no election right now. There's no midterm, no primary, nothing is going on except for the fact that people need a place to put their energy with what they are seeing with the Trump administration. And they trust Bernie and AOC much more than they trust other Democrats who are doing very little, or in the case of someone like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries in some cases.
Just straight up capitulating. Love from YouTube chat. Hey. Thank you for crossing over and hitting that follow button. I appreciate it. Think AOC will run for president? I don't know, but I hope she does. I don't know, but I hope she does, or at least like an AOC adjacent type candidate. Because essentially what we need, are fighters. Okay, and we need candidates that will provide an answer, not just to the fascism, not just to provide an answer to the rise in fascism that we are experiencing right now, but an answer to the status quo. Right? This cannot be another. We can't have another like Hillary Clinton-esque type candidate, right? Another Joe Biden-esque type candidate that will just try to sell us the same system that got us into this place, that got us into this mess in the first place. Because people are not going to have it. I'm sorry, they're just not. If you do not bring a working class message, okay, a strong progressive working class message that provides an answer to the status quo and provides an answer to the rise in fascism, then like it's not gonna fly. You're going to lose, okay? And we'll talk about, there's someone, I forget who, but they posted, I forget their name, and I'm sorry, but they posted a phenomenal campaign opener, and truly inspirational. And I think this is how it kind of should be done. So we'll play it afterwards. I think Tim Walz is going to throw his hat into the ring. I don't know if he's progressive enough. It's a platform that matters and people who will legit fight for it. Yes. Hey, thank you for the YouTube subs. Yeah, she is old enough. So I would be perfectly content. I would be perfectly content with AOC running. As My Dogs Are Goth posted, Bernie is passing the baton. It's clear that he is also touring around with AOC because he believes that, or at least she's one of the people that can pass the torch, right? Because I mean, Bernie's getting old, right? Bernie's getting old. He's 83, and he's not going to be around forever. Getting old? He is old. Yeah, he is old. He is old. But it's going to come to the point where he's not going to be able to do what he's doing, right? He's not going to be around forever. He'd be old AF. Walz needs to declare it. Walz needs to decide to promote capitalism or not. Ezra Klein's dumbass strategy is not it. Agreed. I think Walz might have potential. I'd certainly is better than your like typical like corporate Democrat kind of candidate. But yeah, you're gonna need a real fighter. Seems pretty spry for an old guy. He is. He's touring the dang country. Yeah, so basically, it has to be somebody with a lot of energy. It has to be somebody with a working class message. And, essentially, it has to be an AOC kind of candidate, right? Like, who's young. He'll have to get an invincible teleporter. I know, right? He's definitely in better shape than a Biden or a Dianne Feinstein. True. Walls has a lot of practical charm with some study. He got flat-footed in debate. He'd be great. I mean, like, if he's ready to be like a fighter for the working class, that's the point. I told him to keep quiet. Maybe he'll learn his lesson. Yeah. If anyone gets to have access to the fountain of youth, it should be Bernie. True.
Actually helping the Trump administration. But I'll get to some of the backlash towards Democrats generally later on in the video. First, let's get to the hope.
We pretty much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers and dressers, drawers, couches,
Man, what are you
mattresses,
trying to tell me, YouTube?
So
Are you trying to say that I have too much junk? What's wrong with you?
Let me start with his rally in, or I should say, I guess, town hall in Tempe, Arizona. So a lot of these town halls, he actually talks to the crowds. It isn't just him going out there and giving his typical oligarchy speech. There's actually interaction. I'll get to a couple of really sweet moments, both from Bernie Sanders and AOC at a couple of these rallies. But 15,000 in Tempe, Arizona. Trump visited the same space 12 days before the 2024 election. He couldn't fill it. AOC and I had overflow crowds. Americans will not
We all have too much junk, ADT.
accept oligarchy and authoritarianism. On to Greeley, Colorado now. Denver tonight. Huge crowds expected. Look at this insane crowd. What a great picture.
I love this picture, honestly. I freaking love this picture. Look at this. Right? Look at this. That is a massive freaking crowd, man. That is a massive crowd. I saw Bernie in Colorado in 2015. Nice. YouTube's like, are you about to be evicted? Well, then I've got the perfect ad for you. Ooh, excuse me. We were throwing tons. We're in overflow. Waited 3 hours to get in, but it wasn't that massive. Wow. I haven't seen this. Shivers. Yeah, this is wild. Look at this. I'm scaring the crap out of the corporate temps. Good. Either help or get out of the way. Because yeah, if you're not gonna fight, then like then move. That proves the messaging towards the working class is a good angle. I wished Democrats could get in line like the Republican hive mind. The biggest crowds, the bestest crowds, the most fantastic crowds you ever saw. Nobody's seen numbers like this before.
Amazing. So, as Anna Barr, who works with Bernie, just get her title here, comms director for Bernie Sanders, says, just to be clear about the moment we're in, Bernie's biggest crowd in Phoenix previously was 11,300 in 2015 when he was running for president. Tonight, in a non-campaign year, when he is running for nothing, 15,000 Arizonans turned out. This is a big deal. Another great image.
It's big. It's beautiful. Big, beautiful. One beautiful crowd. Okay. Nobody has crowds like Bernie.
Here's get a little feel of the crowd.
Nice. Vibes are immaculate.
That's as AOC came out. Really cool. There was also an overflow crowd. So this is them outside with the overflow crowd because they couldn't get them inside. There's a theme here. All of these rallies had large overflow crowds. It's hard to know what to say here because this is so much energy for not an election. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, because people, the working class message is working. The vibes are immaculate. Trump will say they're all paid to be there. Love to see combative people.
Where you have these many people show up for politicians when they aren't running for anything. Bernie Sanders writing here, Greeley has a population of 108,000. 11,300 of those Coloradans joined our town hall this afternoon. On to Denver. So if you haven't seen any of these town halls, there's a lot of interaction with the crowd. I showed a video in a previous video of mine where Bernie's asking the crowd, what are you going through? How are you feeling right now? And people are shouting out. There's a lot of back and forth. So it isn't just his typical, oligarchy speech. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there is a lot more interaction, making it more of a town hall feel than your typical, say, political stump speech. So here's a great moment. Let me share this.
When Alexandria was a kid, you correct me if I'm wrong, she cleaned houses with her mom in order to make enough money for the family to survive. And then after she graduated college, she was a barista, working paycheck to paycheck. But what she did is she...
I mean, contrast this with Republican town halls where they're getting shouted at. But yeah, anyways, meet and greets like we'd never seen.
Looked around her and in her community in Bronx, New York. She saw that change had to come. And so what she did is decided to run for Congress, and people said, what, are you kidding? The guy who represents the district was one of the most powerful members of Congress. He had access to unlimited kinds of money. How much money did you have when we started? You started?
None.
None. All right. But she did what real politics is about. Real politics is not sitting at $1 million fundraisers. It's working with people in your community.
True.
And she worked hard, and her friends worked hard, and she pulled off a major upset.
AOC, for any of her flaws, is a great reminder to actually step up and do something. Yeah, and when you have a message that resonates with working class people, it doesn't matter how much money the corporate the corporate Democrat had. Now read it as the Orange Monster. The best is yet to come.
And since then, she has been a great member of Congress, but not only that, she has been an inspiration to millions of young people all across this country. Now, the reason I say all of that is not just to praise Alexandria, and I love her, but is to tell you and the people of America that what Alexandria did, you can do. There are are millions of young people out there who love this country, who are disgusted with what they are seeing, who are prepared to get involved in the political process. So, Alexandria, thank you for being that inspiration.
I think this is one of the more important moments to come out of these town halls is this message to the audience, because these people that are there are ones that want to be more politically engaged if they aren't already. And having AOC there as an example of what you can do, I think is a great way to message to these people who want to be more involved and understand that, hey, you could be a bartender and you could take down someone like Joe Crowley, one of the most important, or I should say powerful Democrats at the time in Congress. You can take him down if you have an actual connection to your community and you actually are willing to fight for people. So it's a great
real patriotism is caring for your neighbors.
Message, and I'll get to a clip from AOC in a second as well. But this was the overflow crowd in Greeley, and we'll get to Denver in a minute. But like, it's just, there are very few things are giving me hope right now. And I got to say, this is pretty cool to see people come out like this. So Dave Weigel, who is a reporter.
The letter hack, welcome. Welcome. Having someone from the podium speak to what the people are feeling is inspiring.
Reporter, journalist for Semaphore, tweeting out here, overflow crowd for the Bernie AOC rally. The smaller one planned for today. The big one is in Denver. So here's just a quick clip of this.
Greeley is a conservative town. I used to work there. And look at that. And look at that crowd. Judgment Free Zone, welcome. What's up? We're doing the Hopium segment. We are. We gotta have it. We gotta have it at least, when we can get it, folks. I used to live 15 miles from Greeley. Not kidding. The whole place smells like cow dung. Oh my goodness.
The person who has helped bring all of us here together.
Very cool. And Dave Weigel also spoke to people there. One thing I noticed talking to attendees was that many hadn't voted for Sanders in the primaries. Sure enough, Sanders told me half the RSVPs for these rallies are not from their very large supporter list. So he isn't just bringing out his typical, Bernie supporter crowd. He's bringing out people that aren't typically involved, which again adds to my hope because it's not just the people that are already following this stuff closely, but it's people that are now more engaged because of what they're seeing from the Trump administration, and also likely what the inaction they're seeing from a lot of their own Democrats. So here is AOC. This is great.
Trump is now in his first month in office, and we want to know how you think he's doing as president. You guys know how I think he's doing.
Our goal here.
Newsmax jump scare. Holy. Whew. Got that Newsmax jump scare.
Here today is to commit to building the kind of country we all deserve. So I'm going to take another second here.
Many people are saying this.
Each of you to turn to the people around you and get a good look. And I want you to greet someone you don't know. And this is awesome. And I think I don't want to interrupt. But it's because if I can offer one assignment.
That's so freaking wholesome. I went to the Greeley Stampede for work every year. Pretty epic rodeo. Nice. It's true, there are a lot of feedlots, which is euphemism for cows being crowded together in a small space, and they stink to high heaven. Put your air intake on recirc when passing through. It smells like cow poo sometimes when north winds blow into Aurora. Oof. We played this game at my church youth group every Sunday. Let myself down. I let us all down. Make comedy legal again. She is not that far removed from living paycheck to paycheck, you can tell.
And today,
poop.
Before we all depart here, it's to leave this place connected to a new person you didn't know coming into this.
I absolutely love this. This is the opposite of a Trump rally. A Trump rally that's all about Trump, all about his personal issues, all about hate division. This is all about community, all about the people.
Yeah, that smell is how you know it's going to snow in Colorado.
All about love. If you have the opportunity to go to something like this, you should go. Because the atmosphere alone is going to raise your mood. Let alone you're going to make friends. You're going to make connections that people that you could possibly build something with, whether it's through activism, whether it's for political office, whatever avenue that you want to take that energy. Absolutely go to one of these things. It's going to be worth it for your mood alone. Let me get to now the big one. So Anna Barr tweeting here. In 2016, Bernie Sanders' biggest crowd was 28,356 at Prospect Park, Brooklyn. He was running for president. In 2019, his largest crowd was 25,872 in Queensbridge Park, New York. He was running for president. Tonight, 34,000 people came out in Denver. He isn't running for anything.
That's 34,000 people, folks. That's just wild. One thing I missed is the push for reconnecting community after all the separation due to certain subjects in politics, and since 2020, many of the things that caused the divide in this country. Yeah, but who's causing the division, right? Like, my argument would be, like, it's not us. It's not us causing the division. It's the reactionaries who want to destroy the lives of minorities. Who are causing this. Like, people aren't angry and divided because they're arguing about, like, healthcare, right? Like, people are angry because the right is attacking their rights. That's why people are angry. Who's causing the division? It's not us.
Let me just sit on this image for a second here. This is crazy. And I got to say, one day when Trump is no longer in office, I would like to go visit Colorado because it seems like a very nice place. And clearly a lot of nice people there. Very cool to see this. Bernie Sanders tweeting this out. Today, AOC and I had 34,000 people come out in Denver. It is the largest rally that I have ever had. And it tells me that the American people will not allow Trump to move us into oligarchy and authoritarianism. We will fight back. We will win. Couple more images here. This is so crazy.
That's very, so freaking cool, man.
So
it's like the hopium here, folks, is the fact that, like, there's still a lot of people, okay? No matter where you are, even in red areas, there's still a lot of people that are willing to stand up to fascism. They're there. They exist. It's the lies. It's heartbreaking hearing family repeat Trump's lies. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I did not see that number before. It's massive. It is. It's very expensive. McGregor is such an embarrassment to my people. Conor McGregor, yes. That guy's a piece of work.
You'll see adding here that this is the biggest political event in Denver since Obama 2008. Working people are ready to stand together and fight for our democracy. Thank you, Colorado.
Jeez.
So let me get to, this is a local Denver report, 9 News. Ria Jha did a really good job breaking this down and interviewed some people who attended as well.
Yeah, people started showing up 3 hours in advance. A line just to get in wrapped around the entire block of Civic Center Park. And we spoke to people while they were showing up about why they came. And they said they were fed up with the current administration and that they needed to hear a message like this. In front of this crowd, these two didn't need any introduction.
In the hundreds of rallies that I have done, we have never, ever had a rally as large as this.
Thousands of people flooded the Civic Center to see Independent Senator Bernie Sanders and Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, drawn by a sense of urgency.
Who's that? Just nobodies. A couple of troublemakers. Just a couple of troublemakers.
Fear and frustration.
Well, the reason I'm here is I don't like the way this country is going right now.
Even before they spoke, the crowd knew what they were hoping to hear. Accountability for the issues they care about.
I'm actually a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and I have so many patients who have Medicaid or Medicare. I'm afraid for the country.
On stage,
that's so freaking sad, man.
AOC wasted no time challenging not only Republicans, but her own party.
And this isn't just about Republicans. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us, too.
Neither Sanders nor AOC spoke directly to Denver-specific issues like immigration enforcement in the city or the rising cost of living, instead focusing on national themes like raising the minimum wage and taking on billionaires.
We will not allow America to become an oligarchy. This nation was built by working people.
I don't understand why they included that in the segment. The tour is called Fight the Oligarchy Tour. Anyways.
And we're not going to let a handful of billionaires run the government.
Both leaders finishing off with a reminder to the people. The power is with them.
No, it's not Bernie. Not Bernie. I got bad news for you. It's you.
I want you to look at every...
I love that. Honestly, I freaking love that. Like, every time if you start chanting Bernie's name, he freaking stops and says it's not him, it's you. Because he knows, man. Look, this is a working class movement. Okay? He is just... He is just... a vehicle. Kick out Vichy Chuck. Yeah, it needs a Dem party that fights for us at all. It's not sad, it's lethally sick.
Level of office around you and support Democrats who actually fight, because those are the ones that can win against Republicans.
How I'm upping my lawn game this year. I've been trying to care for my lawn myself, but it's difficult to figure out exactly what it needs.
Plant natives.
So again, great report there from...
If you want to know what your lawn needs, plant native plants. Yeah, saved you the trouble.
Ria Jha, 9 News. Support Democrats that actually fight. This is what I want to end on here, because this piece in Axios made me laugh out loud. They hate us. That's a quote. Democrats confront their own Tea Party. So I want to be clear.
Good.
The Tea Party was well funded by billionaires, right wing.
Like the fact that like these kind of like corporate side Dems are complaining. Yeah, man. You know what? We do freaking hate you. Okay, and you know why? It's nothing to do with like you personally. It's the fact that like you're literally letting fascism just kind of steamroll the country, and by doing so, a lot of people are getting hurt, okay? A lot of people are getting hurt. You guys can catch ADT on Left Past 10 this week. Yep. I'm going to do another announcement before we go. I'm going to do another announcement. You can also, folks, join the Discord, because I'll be reminding people again tomorrow. So, yeah, join the Discord, and we'll also be making another announcement at the end of the stream and tomorrow as well. But yes, I am very excited to be able to go on Left Past 10 on the Letterhex channel, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday.
Far-right billionaires. There's no funding. What billionaire, what corporation is going to fund people that want to limit the power of billionaires and corporations? This is the movement within the Democratic Party. Or it's not even, to be clear, not even really within the Democratic Party, but the movement on the left is...
Yeah, I mean, like, the difference is, like, the Tea Party was not an organic movement. I think David's going to kind of mention that, versus, like, the movement against the anti-corporate side of the Democratic Party, the more progressive wing, is an organic movement. Dems don't have a Tea Party problem. They have an Israel problem. Well, it's more than that, but yes. Like, they've, you know, the Democratic Party, besides being captured by AIPAC, they've also been captured by big lobbies, like the big healthcare lobbies. It's kind of the reason why we don't have universal healthcare. So yeah, I mean, it's the problem. It's a problem. We need more AOCs. True.
Organic because of just lived experience.
Either that or the Democratic Party is just going to die. I mean, like, it's just really, it's really like that. Either the Democratic Party becomes a party that actually caters to the working class, or it's just going to die. It's going to go the way of the Whigs. Let me rephrase. I respect and admire AC for the most part. I believe she can bring real change. I mean, I think she's been a real leader in these times as far as the Democrats come. As far as the Democratic Party goes, she's definitely stepped up as far as, like, being an actual leader, an actual politician against this regime. We had more AOCs, but AIPAC spent about $12 million to primary them out. That's true, actually. Yes, a thing that happened.
Low wages, no health care, like, just things that people go through every single day, let alone, and that was before Trump came in, let alone everything he is doing now. So some of these quotes are just fantastic. Quote, any Democratic incumbent who thinks they can rest on their laurels and not show their constituents that they are fighting like hell is making a mistake. That's from Representative Jared Huffman. Senior House Democrat told Axios that after a town hall, their colleague called crying, said, quote, they hate us. They hate us. So I assume this is a Democrat who is not fighting. Quote, among the things I got at a town hall were, will you call for Chuck Schumer to resign?
Oh, the horror, right? Like, putting feet to the fire and putting pressure on the Democratic Party because Chuck Schumer rolled over. The freaking horror. This is embarrassing.
Last week I got, you need to tell your leadership they had no right rebuking Democrats for being strong at Trump's speech to a joint session of Congress. This goes to the censuring of Al Green because he stood up and protested Trump during his joint session to Congress. Like, I don't want to get back into that because that was just insane. Democrats fight harder against their own than they do against Donald.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of like a theme, right? That's kind of like a theme. Democrats have been more successful at combating progressive primaries or whatever versus, like, now when it comes down to the nitty gritty, when it comes down to, like, fighting actual fascism, they just, like, fumble the ball constantly, right? Dems are going to think that as things get worse, the people will want less worse, like how Biden won. Yeah, and they're going to continue to lose. So yeah, that is just the way it's going to end up being. Either the Democratic Party learns or it will die. It will go the way of the Whigs, and a new movement will take its place. Preferably a progressive movement will take its place. AOC should have Jerry Connolly's job, but Pelosi wedged in that old party do nothing in her place. They should be saying maybe we should listen to progressives at this point. Yeah, at this point, but maybe.
Trump, and I'm speaking generally here because obviously you have people like AOC.
Maybe the people who have had the winning message, right, for the past time immemorial. Okay, maybe those people should be listened to. I don't know. What do I know?
See who are fighters, but it's just insane. Quote: "The base has been pissed off for a while." Very true. This from another representative. "My constituents have passionately said they are not happy with Democratic leadership. They expect more from me and from Democrats in Congress."
Yeah.
And last one here. A Quinnipiac poll found that just
boo freaking who, man? Yeah, your constituents want you to do something. Democrats have had it easier finding a new bad guy to point to every week, but I hope this time does it.
40% of Democrats approve of the job Congressional Democrats are doing.
I mean, just to be clear, Republicans are objectively worse. Like, Republicans are fascist. It's just that like Democrats can't run on saying like, well, we're not Republicans. Okay, what are you going to do for us? There are calls for John Fetterman to resign from his own constituents. Yep. Because they have so much money and power, they think they don't need our votes anymore.
Down from...
And they will keep losing.
75% a year earlier. Look at that drop. So I went deeper into that drop. It is a record-setting drop. Lowest support for the Democratic Party in 30 years from their own members. So go watch my video on that. Bernie calls for major transformation of Democratic Party while ripping Chuck Schumer's leadership. I will link to that below and above on YouTube as well. These crowds, though, not only is giving me hope, and I think should give you hope, but I think this is also the start of something bigger.
Yeah, a little hopium's good, right? A little hopium's nice. Okay. A little hopium's nice. All they've done for decades is react to what Republicans are doing and then compromise our rights and freedoms away. They did screw us. And, you know what? This playing dead thing isn't working. What? You mean Carvile's wrong? What? The Jim Cramer of politics is wrong? What? And when they go low, we lay on the ground and hope that the bear doesn't maul us. I added that last part, but you know. All right, folks, let's get through some of these headlines before we get out of here. We gotta speed run through this. The judge declines to lift the ban on Trump's deportations under wartime powers. A U.S. federal judge has refused to lift the TRO blocking the deportation of we actually can't even say that. Like, are they even Venezuelans? Do we know that? But whatever. Of immigrants under Trump. Under Trump's invocation of wartime powers, the Alien and Enemies Act. On March 15, Trump deported 238 alleged Venezuelan gang members to a mega prison, a concentration camp in El Salvador, citing the 1798 Aliens Enemies Act, last issued during World War II. I watched Schumer try to defend that one, and I wanted to break my TV. Understandable. The leopards aren't picky about whose faces they eat. True. Judge Boasberg ruled on Monday that many of those deported dispute their gang affiliation and must be allowed to challenge their removal, i.e. due process. The ruling comes ahead of a Monday afternoon appeals court hearing where the administration will seek to overturn Boasberg's original March 15th restraining order. Trump proclaimed on March 15th that members of Venezuelan crime gang Tren de Aragua were conducting, quote, irregular warfare, against the U.S., justifying their deportation under the Aliens Enemies Act. Like, this is such a, like, I mean, like, the pretzels, right? The amount of, like, mental, like, twists that you had to do to say that a gang is conducting irregular warfare, which it's not. They're just criminals, right? Like, it's just a gang. To equate that to conducting illegal, irregular warfare, to then justify the invocation of these expansion of powers is wild. But later that evening, Judge Boasberg issued a 14-day halt to deportations under proclamation, verbally ordering the government to turn around the flights, which they didn't. The White House insisted it was already too late as the planes were already in international airspace. The Trump administration maintains that men were carefully vetted. They were not, and verified as gang members before being flown to El Salvador. Okay, but the whole problem was that you're not just invoking this because you're invoking this because of a specific gang, and you don't even know if these people are related to Tren de Aragua. Like, how many Tren de Aragua people do you think there actually are in this country? Right? And do you mean that you already deported all of them? Tren de Aragua is the new Hamas? Yeah, 100%. Because guess what? The actual number of Tren de Aragua people that are actually here may not even reach the 1,000 number. I think it's like a couple hundred. Some of the family members have disputed that allegation, and U.S. officials have acknowledged many of the men have no criminal record. So this is not about, like, how is it that this administration is not being held in contempt, like, immediately? Like, they're playing games with this judge, right? Like, if I was this federal judge, I would be freaking livid. I would be livid that in one freaking breath, you're telling me that this is all over this Tren de Aragua gang, right? And in another breath, say, oh, actually, many of these don't have criminal records at all. People are coming here to escape the gangs. True. Oh my God, the woman in the line at the store had so much perfume on that I could smell it on me all the way to the car. Now I taste it. Oof. As if law enforcement usually holds back. As if law enforcement was usually holding back on people. So which is it? Were the men carefully vetted or not? On Monday, Boasberg noted that because the named plaintiffs dispute that they are not members of Tren de Aragua, they may not be deported until court has been able to decide the merits of their challenge. The judge noted the Trump administration was still free to deport Venezuelans to the regular immigration process. Meanwhile, the Trump administration has appealed against the judge March 15th restraining order to the D.C. Court of Appeals, seeking not only to lift the ban, but also have the judge removed from the case. The deportations have created tension between the White House and Judge Boasberg, who said on Friday that he's never heard lawyers for the government speak to him the way the Trump administration attorneys had. Quote, I will get to the bottom of whether they violated my order, who ordered this, and what the consequences will be. So that's why they want him impeached, by the way, because he is showing, combativeness and is showing they went by if you're black and brown, they have tattoos. That's basically it. This judge is showing jurisprudence and saying, hey man, what's the legal justification for this? And did you violate my legal order? And you know what? I hope this kind of comes to a head, because we really have to put this out there. Like, this has to be like really out in the public. This administration has violated court order after court order after court order, but this particular case right here is more public than normal, and people need to see this. People need to see that without a shadow of a doubt, right? Like, without any weaseling, that this administration is doing unconstitutional things. This administration is bypassing due process, okay? And this needs to be at the front and center. It stuns me that they can just not listen to the courts. I mean, like I was saying quite a while ago, that like this whole thing, right? Like this whole thing is literally like hinging on a gentleman's agreement, right? Our democracy, our country is literally like the institutions that we have, that we enjoy, everything is being held by a gentleman's agreement, okay? That's it. And the moment like people are like, you know what, I don't want to listen to that anymore, it kind of falls apart, as we see. There has to be enforcement, or what the F is the point? Correct. A young federal prosecutor was found dead in her bed. Reporters didn't know who called it in, but she led the prosecution of things like Russian money laundering. Yeah, I saw that. Not much information has been given, but it seems very sketch. Trump has described as Boasberg as a constitutional disaster who doesn't mind if criminals come into our country. No, what matters is due process. What matters is the Constitution. Even if they are criminals, okay? Even if they are criminals, they have the right to due process. Either everyone has the right to due process or no one does. Does that make sense? In Texas, they've been defying a SCOTUS order for years. The deportations have been criticized by human rights groups who have argued the move is illegal because the U.S. is not at war. Speaking to Fox News on Sunday, Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi defended the government's use of wartime law to ship the Venezuelan nationals to El Salvador, right? Like, I mean, seriously. It's a modern-day warfare, and we're going to continue to fight and protect American citizens, yada, yada, yada. Kay Martinez, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Yeah, perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. You're referencing to what I just said. Sorry. And those super prisons are massively sending people 100% concentration camps. 100%. Like 1,000%. And as I was saying earlier, like it's only a matter of time before like two things happen. Either they're going to just have to turn the whole place into a damn penal colony, right? They're just going to have to imprison everybody, or death camps are coming. Because out of that, you know, if you just decide to keep imprisoning people, if you just decide to keep imprisoning people and imprisoning people, then like more Trenderaguas are just going to emerge, right? Like that's just how it's going to be. So yeah, either you're gonna downstream make the problem worse because it turns out that like jailing people is not the way to actually deal with crime, or B, you're just gonna have to start unaliving people. Did you see the White House accidentally texted reporters the plans for war with China? Yeah, actually, I had that queued up. We might have to get to this tomorrow. Oh my God. But yeah. Yeah, wild stuff. They didn't even care. Lying to deny they plan to deport kids to Guantanamo Bay. Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah. They sent, by the way, they sent women. I said this earlier, but they sent women to those El Salvador freaking gulags, okay? And they sent those women back to Venezuela because the gulags only accepted men. The Trump administration to end immigration program for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. Yeah. The Trump administration will be revoking by the end of April. Because they are proud of it. Cruelty is a plan. Yep. An immigration status of Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans that allows hundreds of thousands of migrants to work in the U.S. because of economic security, political, and health crises in their home country. The program provided haven for U.S. for 532,000 immigrants under the Biden administration in 2022 and 2023. Let's just be clear, this is a war on the poor people, on the poor, black, and brown people who've dared to seek safety, said Geraldine Joseph, executive director of the advocacy group Haitian Bridge Alliance. These families have followed the rules. Now they're being told they're no longer welcome because Trump wants to rally his base with racist fearmongering. I mean, like, that's basically it. That's basically it. Right? Like, we can just, like, stop right there. Like, that's basically it. They want to take these... excuse me. They want to take away this temporary protection status because of racism and xenophobia. That's it. And again, you know, and again, it's not going to stop with undocumented people. It's happening to protected status people, i.e. documented people. It's not going to stop there, folks. It is sickening, just to weigh in on that. I would argue that it's not regular. It's not normal to cheer this on. It's not normal to cheer this on. They're using shock and awe tactics to get people fearful of doing anything. Yeah. Yeah, because the more scared you are of doing something, the more power they have. The more scared you are, whether you're legally here or not, the more scared you are to stand up for yourself, the more scared you are to rally with people, the more scared you are to unite together and link hands in hands, the more powerful they are, because that's how this works, okay? Fascism needs, in order for it to operate, it needs to be unopposed. And one of the methods for making sure that people don't stand up is to make them scared of the state. That at any point it could be you. All right, folks, I got to run through this one really quickly. Trump says Education Department will no longer oversee student loans and special needs programs. President Trump continues to his push to unwind the Department of Education, even though he can't do that because that's a Congress thing, announcing that the management of the entire federal student loan portfolio in the Department of Special Needs Programs would be moved to other federal agencies immediately. Appearing in the Oval Office with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Trump said, "I've decided that the SBA, the Small Business Administration headed by Kelly Loeffler, a terrific person, probably not, will handle all the student loan portfolio. We have a portfolio that's very large. So that's what's going to happen to the student loans, folks. The federal student loan portfolio, which includes 1.6 trillion in loans for roughly 43 million borrowers, is currently overseen by the Education Department's FSA, or Federal Student Aid. That office has been gutted by the recent raft of buyouts, early retirements, and last week's broad reduction in force. It was not clear, based on Trump's announcement, how or if the remaining employees and expertise at FSA would be transferred to the Small Business Administration. Trump said he would move the student loans out of the Department of Education immediately, and that Loeffler and his staff are all set for it. They're waiting for it. It'll be serviced much better than it has in the past. I doubt that. It's been a mess. So, yeah, I mean, like, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. This is going to affect us directly here in the A Difficult Truth household. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that we're going to have to brace for impact and seeing what exactly we're going to end up with. Yeah, MSNBC host gets heated over Bernie, and his huge rally is a thing that happened. Kids with special needs, because of course they have it too good. True. Cutting library funding. Yep. Offer is an awful person out of Georgia. I think she was a senator once, and we voted her out of there. I was talking to my mom about this today. Texas already sucks in education. This will be devastating. Yep. But, you know, who needs education? In a statement, Loeffler said, as the government's largest guarantor of business loans, the SBA stands ready to deploy its resources and expertise on behalf of American taxpayers and students. But those resources are about to take a big hit, as well as the SBA also announced that it's reducing its workforce by 40%. So, you know, who knows? It's unclear as to what's going to happen. As far as, don't worry, you'll have a civil war soon, and Trump could be under arrest as soon as the Pentagon is getting very leaky. I don't know. I hope he gets arrested. We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. Yeah, financial eugenics. I certainly hope he does get arrested, but like I don't see it. In a post on Blue Sky Center, Pat Murray of Washington called the potential changes a clear violation of education and appropriations law. In a post on Twitter, Health and Human Services Secretary Kennedy said his agency is fully prepared to take on the responsibility of supporting individuals with special needs, which not everyone was convinced for obvious reasons. Trump is getting arrested is not on my bingo card. Me neither, but, you know, it's nice. It's nice to think about. Actually, the more funny thing is Musk now claiming SpaceX is too big to fail. This is not a minor bureaucratic reorganization. It's a fundamental redefinition of how our country treats children with disabilities, said Kerry Rodriguez, president of the National Parents Union, which represents more than 1,800 parent organizations across the country. Yeah, I mean, like, seriously, like, absolute ghouls to do this to special needs kids, right? I don't know what's going to happen, but I can't imagine that it's going to be good. All right, folks, I'm going to have to do this one tomorrow, but that's a thing that happened, folks. So just to give you like the TLDR, before I go, basically they accidentally added in a secure signal chat. They accidentally added this journalist, Jeffrey Goldberg, in the chat, and that's how this was leaked, by the way. I'm not joking. That's how it happened. They accidentally added him to the chat. It's in fact illegal to print bingo cards depicting that. Representative Murray could have delivered Medicare for all or single payer after Obama was elected. Instead, we got this corporate POS system. But her emails! How the F do you accidentally do that? I don't know, man. This is just, you know. Yeah, whoopsies. It seems suspect. I mean, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility that, like, they literally did a national security whoopsies. Oh my god. Remember Rudy calling the wrong senator? Yeah. Or going to the wrong Four Seasons or whatever it was called. Hexeth might not be as sober as he claims. Hillary Clinton's staff just texted their... Oh, my God. All right, folks. I got to get out of here. It's about 7:10. And, yeah. I got to get out of here, folks. Thank you all for for being here, folks. I appreciate you guys hanging out. We don't call him a DUI hire for nothing. It sounds like the reporter sat on it until after it happened. Yeah, I would, too. I want all the goods. Wiener texting is Wiener. Secretary Peter Principal. Yeah, the Four Seasons. There you go. The landscaping. Stay safe. Thank you. Appreciate it, Karkenstein. Listen, folks, thank you all for being here. And thank you for your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed Megastar's 100 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Loving the channel. I thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the new follows. Thank you for the YouTube folks who have jumped over and supported over here on Twitch. For all of you Twitch viewers, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. Minnesota girl, thank you for the 100 biddies. I appreciate it. Folks, before we go, remember, this Wednesday, 10 p.m., I'm going to be in the Letterhex channel left past 10 at 10 p.m. Eastern this Wednesday. So this Wednesday, there will be no stream in the regular time. It'll be pushed to 10 p.m. Eastern. Check the Discord, folks, if you want to keep up with the channel. Thank you all. I appreciate the support. Thank you, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hasser, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Looney Tunes, hey, I appreciate you guys for being here, and I appreciate the support. If you guys want to continue to support the channel, keep doing what you're doing. Spread the word. We're here Monday through Thursday around 5 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you all. And if you want to support the channel directly, check out the merch store, hit the exclamation mark tip, join the Discord, subscribe to the Substack, do all the things. I appreciate it. Thank you all. Hey, hell yeah, and I'll be your mod. Appreciate that. Catch us there at the Letter Hack, 10 p.m. left past 10. I appreciate you guys being here. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time. See ya. Thank you for stopping by. All right, folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. Those of you on YouTube, head on over to Left of the Box. Bye-bye.